Okay, so in this video, what I'm going to be doing is breaking down the 3 levers of tutoring business success. That specifically took my online tutoring business from just a measly 5 students to 50 consistent students in just a matter of months. And these steps are generic, so you're going to be able to implement them too for your business. Now, this is just a little bit about why I know what I'm talking about when it comes to running an online tutoring business. So, during one of my 1 month sales campaigns, I had 404 warm leads come in. And the reason why I'm saying warm leads or warm potential clients is because these people made a pre-purchase before they had an opportunity to join my tutoring service. So this pre-purchase may have been $6, it may have been $25, or it may have been $45, depending on what the pre-purchase was. And these were all accumulated over a 30-day period. So here's all the stats from that, from my Stripe screenshot. So 404 leads accumulated. So each potential client paid me $6. And using this strategy, or using the strategy that I use for my tutoring business clients, it actually exceeded the ad costs. So it didn't actually cost anything in the long run to run the ads because you reimburse the cost through the costs or through the profit that you make from bringing in a lead. And 50 of these 404 leads eventually joined my tutoring business service at the end of the 3-month campaign. So it was about a couple of months maximum to warm up these leads. And this gave me a monthly recurring revenue of about $14,600. I had 50,000 members across all my social media. So this included Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And I had 900 members in an online community specific to my niche, specific to my subject, which was VCA methods. And this is actually still growing, which was surprising to me at first. I stopped posting completely for my tutoring 6 months ago, and I transitioned into something different, which is this. But this is still growing, although I've stopped posting all my content. And this is actually because of the first lever discussed in this video. It creates an evergreen strategy that will always bring students in. So this is still growing. When I stopped doing this, it was 900 members. Now it's 942, which is awesome to see so many students impacted by the stuff that I give out. I garnered a loyal YouTube audience, which was unparalleled for my niche. With only posting 100 videos that nurtured leads. So I only posted about 100 videos on my YouTube, and I posted most of these in the 2021 to 2022 period. I stopped doing it because it took a lot of time and effort to make YouTube videos, but you can see the return in the long run. So you see it's got over 50,000 views, which is quite good for YouTube because YouTube leads are quite high quality leads, and a lot of subscribers who are people who keep on returning to your videos, and you keep nurturing that audience. Now, this is my calendar without actually running a direct campaign. I had 21 very interested leads booking calls to join as a student over a 10-day period. So this goes from the 17th of June to the 27th of June last year. And this is all through the funnel, which is what this video is about. And most importantly, compared to all these monetary stats, compared to all these student statistics, I wanted to have tangible impact, and I wanted to use my platform for the better, and I was able to help thousands of students for free, whether it be just someone watching a video or getting some free content. And ultimately, I was making income working from my laptop, and I was having a lot of fun along the way as well. Now, the 3 levers I'm about to share in this video directly solved the biggest challenges that I faced in getting students. So they helped me increase my student count, which in turn increased my income as I was running my online tutoring business. And it created a consistent, reliable stream of students that are indefinite. And when I say indefinite, I want to reiterate what I said before. There's still students who contact me on Instagram because they want to join my tutoring service, because they've come across my content, they've come across my YouTube, they've come across my free community, and they just want to get a piece. You could be in exactly the same position as this if you implement exactly what I talk about in this video. Now, this video is only for you if you're serious about shortcutting the secrets to succeed as an online tutor. And I'm breaking down everything that I did, so you can literally just copy my exact system and get the same results. And you'll be able to grow your tutoring business even if you haven't succeeded right now. And you'll be able to grow your tutoring business without the student turnover that you're currently being used to. The headache of wondering if students will actually show up and continuously show up once they say that they're going to join. And you're going to be able to grow your tutoring business without wasting time testing random strategies that don't work. I was testing random strategies for 2.5 years before I actually implemented the strategies that I'm talking about in this video. So all of my learnings from the first 2.5 years and the remainder of refining my process, it's summarized in this quite a long video, but it's worth watching it from start to finish if you want to learn everything. And I'm going to break down everything which I did so you can just copy me and get the same result. Now, this is me teaching at Monash University, so I did have a wealth of teaching experience. This was before and after I started my tutoring business, and I won the Monash University Teaching Award. Now, believe it or not, I talked about this a lot with my advertising at first before I came up with the 3 levers and before I came up with this strategy. And it wasn't really working for me. I was saying I was a teacher at Monash University. I had all these experience. I had all these testimonials. And I even won the teaching award at university. And that still wasn't enough to bring in a quality amount of students. Maybe it brings in a handful, but it's not consistent enough for my liking. It wasn't consistent enough to actually obtain a full-time income with my business. So this is my overall tutoring journey. So I started tutoring privately right after I finished VCE Methods, which was in 2017. And I wanted to start a tutoring business, but I had no clue how to attract consistent students. And I tried everything to grow. And you might be using these methods right now. Tried posting on Facebook Marketplace, tried hosting in-person seminars, hosting virtual seminars, posting in Facebook tutoring groups, relying on word of mouth, which is very, very hit or miss, offering free trial signups, which we'll go through that in more detail later in this video, that it's not actually a good strategy if you want things to work, and attracting students from my old high school. None of it worked in the first 2 years, from 2021 to 2023. And there's one reason for this. It's because I didn't actually understand how marketing and business truly work. And in today's market, this is a really important takeaway from this whole video. If you take one thing away from this video, it's that experience and skill alone aren't enough to sell in today's market. It's not enough to sell in this day and age that we exist in with the business world and the social media landscape. Now, as a tutor, you can't rely on just posting good scores, for example, or good testimonials from previous students, because everyone has those. If you go on Facebook, if you go onto tutoring pages, if you go onto Gumtree, everyone has good scores, everyone has good testimonials. What actually works, and what worked for me specifically, is the system that I'm sharing in this video, which, as I summarized before, is the 3 levers of the tutoring blueprint that helped me get all of my students and hit the results I mentioned earlier. And just to summarize them, it gave me hundreds of fresh leads every month in my specific niche, which was just one subject for 1 year level. It gave me a loyal following to nurture on social media and actually sell to at the end of the day. It gave me a calendar full of bookings from these methods of getting in people to nurture. And these were parents, and they were also students who were eager to join. Ultimately, it gave me more students, brought me a high income, and it brought me far less churn, which is essentially just another way of saying it, client turnover. Very little client turnover once they actually joined. Now, I want to pose you a question. I want you to think about this question really deeply. And you might think it's a really simple question, but it's actually really important to evaluate these statistics from your own business and your own experience. How are you currently finding students? Or more simply put, how are students finding out about you? Now, you have to think about this fact. You have to think about that your students, or your potential students, the students who you're trying to sell to, or the parents that you're trying to sell to, are literally strangers. They're literally strangers, and they don't know you at all. So why should they give you their hard-earned money? With your existing free trial method that you're currently implementing right now, you don't actually have a business. You just have a charity where you're giving out free sessions for absolutely nothing, because you haven't configured everything in the right way, and you haven't implemented what I'm going to be discussing for the remainder of this video. Now, I'm going to go through a bit of an analogy with a free trial to give you an understanding of why it's not actually working. Because when you see a product, and you specifically have seen a product that has a free trial, or it has some sort of try before you buy period, what's the first thing that comes to mind? This is what comes to mind for me, and it's probably the same thing for you as well. Why is this free? What's the catch? And how can I get the free thing without commitment? It sounds like a very pessimistic way of looking at getting something for free, but it's very true. If you encounter something for free, if you encounter a free trial for something, you're going to be thinking exactly the same thing. If you need to buy a product, if you need to get a software, if you need to start a service, you're going to be thinking all these questions before you actually start the free trial. Now, imagine you're at the supermarket and there's a stand giving out mango samples. I just made up mango samples. This is what it looks like if you're at a supermarket or a shopping center. They probably look something like this. So I wanted to use the picture to plant that in your mind. Now, let's say you try something from one of these stands. Do you feel any pressure to buy the mango after tasting? It's very unlikely that you feel any pressure. And it's because you don't know. It's just a free sample without no strings attached. You know it's a free sample and you know there's no strings attached. There's no obligation. You can just walk off because they're just at a stand in the middle of the shopping center, presumably away from the mango section. You're simply just passing by and you just pick up a free sample as you go. The only time you'll buy it is if the mango absolutely blows you away. And you might go out of your way to find it on the shelf later or find it in the produce section later. But the real key takeaway from this is that there's no urgency, there's no demand, and there's no real reason to buy that mango right there and then. Okay, so consider there's a completely different scenario, right? You're at a gelato store and you join the queue. So there's an existing queue, you join the queue, and you're excited to try a few samples. Now, if you've lined up to get gelato and try the samples, I bet you wouldn't just walk away. There's no way you would line up, try some samples of some different flavors, and there's no way you would walk away. And it's not just because ice cream is really good. That's not the only reason. We're going to discuss exactly why on the next slide. But you'd actually feel obliged to buy a scoop. And there's reasons for this. Maybe 2, maybe 3, if you may. I'll get 3 scoops of ice cream. I'll get 3 scoops of gelato when I go. But there's a reason why you feel obliged to buy at least 1 scoop. Because think about how you'd feel trying to leave after tasting. It would be really awkward. It'd be really awkward feeling to line up in line, get some free samples of some ice cream, and just turn away and walk off. You could. It's definitely valid. It's definitely possible that you could, but you wouldn't because it's awkward. It feels really weird. And you feel as if you might as well buy it. You feel like you might as well buy it. I mean, like, how could gelato actually be bad, right? You just tried it, you liked it, and you feel awkward to leave, so you buy the ice cream. Now, why does this scenario work a lot better than the supermarket samples? The supermarket samples probably have very little conversion from testing to actually buying the product. So why does it work so much better in ice cream stores compared to supermarkets? It's because it's an active experience, which means that you're involved in the process. There's scarcity. You can only try a few flavors once you get to the front of the line, and the pressure's on. You've made micro investments throughout the process. So you've waited in line, you queue up behind everyone else, you've made the choices on the ice creams, you have made micro investments along the way without you even thinking about it. And it feels like a privilege to get a taste because of the little amount that you get, because you can only try a couple of flavors usually, because of the line usually at these types of places as well. There's usually just one person working at a gelato store. So we need to be applying the same principles to when we're running our sales and marketing process. And that's exactly what I've implemented in the 3 levers that I'm going to be talking about after this slide. So this video overall will break down exactly how you build your sales funnel. That's the key terminology in this case. It's a sales funnel. You may have heard of that term before. You might not know exactly what it is. We're going to be breaking that down in this video in the tutoring specific landscape or in the online tutoring business landscape. So you can summarize the 3 steps of the sales funnel in these 3 ways. So the first step is to build awareness. You have to get your ideal students lined up. The second step is to nurture and consideration. You have to create trust and desire with you, your process, not necessarily your product. We're going to talk about that in later slides, but it's you and your process. And then you have to be able to convert as well. So students or parents are very eager to work with you. These are the 3 levers of the tutoring blueprint. And I'm going to break down each one of them in specific detail after this current slide. So now we're here. This is what the 3 levers actually look like. So you have awareness, which I talked about before, very briefly. We're going to break it down, but this is the top of funnel. This is the middle of funnel. This is the bottom of funnel. Think about what a funnel does. It sifts out something from larger to smaller. That's exactly what a sales funnel does. It sifts out a bunch of people, and then it nurtures them, it brings it down into the funnel, and then you're just left with the droplets at the bottom, which is exactly what you want, which are the students that you want, which is income to your business, and which is ultimately success in your life as well. Now, the first lever, what we talked about was awareness, but specifically, it's the top of funnel. This is where students first become aware of you, but not your product. It's just you. It's not your product. And that distinction genuinely matters in today's day and age, and specifically for the online tutoring space, where you essentially are the product. They want to trust you, they want to trust your advice, or they need to be trusting your advice when they eventually join. They're not going to trust any random person, but they have to be aware of you and who you are. Because you wouldn't pitch a tutoring package to someone you've never spoken to. Yet that's what you're doing right now without actually realizing it. And the truth is, at this stage, you don't know where they're at. You don't know what position they're in school. You don't know where they want to go. So you don't know what their desired state is. And they have no clue if you can actually get them there. And what happens if you actually skip this step? What happens if you skip the top of funnel? What if you just want to go straight to the meat and potatoes and just get to the students that are actually your ideal client without actually sifting them out? You'll just keep wondering why your message is getting ignored, or why no one wants to pay you what you're worth. You're going to keep on wondering why your ads don't work. You're going to keep on wondering why those Facebook posts don't work. I'll show you how to fix all this up later. But for now, just know the first step is not to sell at all. The first step is to position yourself as the only person who understands what they actually need and who they are right now and what's their current state and what's their desired state as well, and how to actually get them from their current state to their desired state. So let them learn about you, because in the eyes of your future students, you're not just a tutor. You are literally the bridge to their dream life. It sounds emotional and sounds dramatic because that's what it is. From their point of view, year 11, year 12, year 10, whatever year level they're in, it is a dramatic stage of their life. They want to be better. They want to go from low scores to high scores. They want to get into their dream career. They want to get into their dream uni course. They want to make themselves proud. They want to make their parents proud. Whatever their goal is, you're the bridge to get them there. Now think about it. You're the only one helping them get the grades, the uni offer, the confidence, the future. And if they don't trust you, not just your skills, but if they don't trust you, they'll never actually take that first step to joining you and securing your help. That's why the top of funnel isn't about selling lessons. It's about building belief that you're the only one that understands them and can lead them there as well. Now here's the best part. Right? This is the best part that you need to take out from the top of funnel or the awareness stage. Awareness doesn't have to mean dancing on TikTok. It doesn't have to mean virality or giving away the best content for free or giving away all your value for free. There's a smarter, simpler way to attract the right students, not just all students, but the right students for your business to get you the best results, to get you the best testimonials, and to make you the most amount of income for your business. The ones who already want your offer, the people that you're going to be securing, or the people who you're going to be giving awareness to, they already want your offer. And they're going to want your offer without you chasing or begging them for it. Now here's the second lever, which is the middle of the funnel or the consideration stage. So now that they've seen you, they're aware of you. They know who you are. They know about your process. They know about your ideologies. But awareness doesn't equal trust. At this stage, most tutors either say too much or nothing at all. They either drown students in proof, such as qualifications, lesson breakdowns, success stories, testimonials, or they hold back, hoping students will just understand them. They'll just get it. They'll just put the pieces together themselves. But here's the truth about any sort of marketing in the real world or any sort of time that you buy a product. No one buys from someone that they don't feel understood by. That's a really important thing to take away from this video as well. If you take one other thing from this video, no one buys from someone that they don't feel understood by. Now, the middle of funnel is where you prove just this one thing, that you understand them, that you get them. Not just their grades, but their goals, their fears, their inner dialogue, exactly what they're thinking, you resonate with. You understand exactly what they resonate with. And it's not about just listing your resume. It's about showing them, hey, I've helped someone who was in exactly the same position as Bob. They were exactly like you before. And I know what you're trying to fix. Even if you can't say it out loud yet, even if they don't realize themselves, even if they're not conscious of what they need to fix, you preemptively know exactly what they need to fix. And you know exactly how to do it because you've done it for yourself or you've done it for other people in the past as well. This is the moment where they go, wait, this tutor who's you, this tutor for my subject or this coach for my high school is actually, they actually get it. This could genuinely work for me. when they've gone to other people before and they've realized they don't actually understand the problem. They don't get me. They don't resonate with my exact issues. They don't resonate with my exact goals. You do. And you need to communicate that. You need to communicate that indirectly and also directly. And here's the best part. You don't have to convince anyone of anything. There's a way to position your content so that literally every single post, every message, every piece of proof naturally answers that question. Why you? Why should they choose you? Why are you the best to get them from their current state to their desired state without ever needing to actually say it directly? And I'll walk you through exactly how to do this after the third lever. Now here's the third lever. The third lever is the bottom of the funnel. So if you've done the top and the middle right, this part is the easiest part. It's just sifting out whatever's left at the bottom into students that join, into income. The student already trusts you. They already want what you're going to offer them. You're not convincing anyone at this stage anymore. You've done all the convincing in the top of funnel and the middle of funnel. You're just guiding them through the next logical step, which is them joining with you. But there is a bit of uncertainty with this stage, and it's because tutors undergo some panic because they've gone through all this process before and they're not sure how to actually go from here when it comes to a student joining or a parent joining your service. So most tutors, you might be in this position as well. You either undersell, so you give discounts because they say the price is too expensive. You put in just random urgency. You say last chance. You put all this messaging in your advertising and in your posts. Or you might be on the other end of the spectrum where you underdeliver. So it's a vague, you DM for more info. It's just vague posts about just your testimonials, hoping someone just bites back. Both make you look desperate. Both are really easy to read through for any parent with some brains or any student with some brains as well. Now, the bottom of funnel isn't about pressure. It's not about putting pressure on them. It's about clarity and understanding. Logically, what do they need to do next? What do they get? What does working with you feel like? When you've positioned everything correctly, students will literally ask you to start. You shouldn't be convincing anyone of anything at this step. They will literally ask you to start and beg you to open up your service to them. They'll say things like, when can I begin? How much is it? How do I sign up? That's not magic. That's a system. That's a system that you've set up and you've planted the seeds to make them ask those questions in the easiest way possible. If you implement everything in the top and middle of the funnel, the bottom of funnel, there's no friction in it at all. It gives the student certainty with a decision, and it makes them feel saying yes like a no-brainer, like they have to do it. If they want to succeed, they have to go with you. You resonate with them the best. You understand them the best. It just makes it a no-brainer to say no. Now, I'll show you exactly how I set this up for tutors who don't want to chase students anymore. If you're sick of just chasing students and trying to beg them to join your free trial, trying to beg them to join your service, if you don't want to chase students anymore like that, then you need to see exactly how I do that for my tutors. Now, this is a summary in simple terms of the whole three levers: the top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. The tutors who grow with ease, who attract the right students, set premium rates, and build real online tutoring businesses, they're not more talented. I'm not more talented than you because I was able to do it. I took a long time to do it. You can build up your business in as quick as 3 months because that's how long it took me to go from the start of my ad campaign to the end of it. And I was able to go from 5 to 50 students as I talked about at the start of this video. So myself and the tutors who are running online businesses successfully, online tutoring businesses successfully, they're just running a system that does the heavy lifting for them. Not you doing the heavy lifting, the system does the heavy lifting for them. It's a system that they've set up and I was able to set up that creates demand before you even speak to the student one-on-one. It builds trust without needing constant content or awkward selling. And it turns a maybe into when can we start? When can I start? When's the next intake for students? You want your clients or your potential clients to be asking those questions rather than, can I get a discount? This is too expensive. That's just an objection because they don't understand what you're about. They don't understand your service. They don't get it that you can actually help them because that hasn't been communicated in the first two levers, at the top of funnel and the middle of funnel. If you're still relying on referrals, free trials, or hoping your next post just lands and it just gets a bunch of students, again, it's not a business. That's a gamble. And genuinely, it's exhausting. I was in exactly the same position as that. It was exhausting for me for the first 2 years. I was on the brink of just saying, this is it. This is not working. I don't want to do tutoring anymore. It took what I was really passionate about to something that I was considering quitting, which was really sad at that point in time. But I was able to turn it around, which is the most important thing. Now, if you're a great tutor, but your results don't reflect how hard you're working, you might be in this position. You might resonate with this as well. Then let's talk. I open up a few strategy calls each week where I work one-on-one with tutoring business owners, specifically online tutoring business owners, but generally tutoring business owners, to map out this out for their situation. This isn't a sales pitch, to be frank. It's just a diagnostic. We'll figure out exactly where your funnel is leaking attention, trust, or conversions. And if I think that you're a good fit, I'll invite you to work with me directly. Now, to keep these calls high quality and to keep the process as smooth as possible and to give you the much amount of value as possible, there's just a quick 5-question multiple choice to fill out just under this video. Click the link, answer the few questions honestly, and if you're the kind of tutor that this is built for, then we can talk. If not, you still watch this whole video up until this point. Hopefully you haven't skipped over any parts, but you'll still walk away knowing exactly what to fix with your business. So you've mastered tutoring. Now it's time to master the business. Now it's time to master the marketing. Now it's time to master the sales. Answer those questions below in those 5 multiple choice questions, and we'll build a sustainable online tutoring business for you for years to come.